Imagine for a moment that you are standing on your front porch. You've had a long day, your keys are in your hand, and you're ready to transition from the chaotic outside world into the sanctuary of your home. You reach for the handle, turn it, and without a second thought, you push. The door yields, swinging smoothly away from you and into the hallway. It is a motion so deeply ingrained in our muscle memory that we perform it thousands of times a year without ever pausing to ask, why? Why does the door move away from the person entering? If you were to travel to almost any residential street in the world, you would find this same mechanical handshake repeated over and over again. Yet the moment you step into a grocery store, a cinema, or an office building, the rules suddenly flip, and you find yourself pulling the door toward you to enter. This isn't a random architectural quirk or a coin-toss decision made by builders centuries ago. The direction of a door's swing is actually a sophisticated intersection of physics, historical warfare, emergency psychology, and even the subtle art of hospitality. Today we're going to step across the threshold and explore the hidden logic behind why your front door swings inward, and why, in very specific parts of the world, doing so might actually be considered a structural mistake. To understand the inward swing, we first have to look at the sheer physics of human movement and the ergonomics of the arrival. Think about the act of entering a home. Most of us arrive with something in our hands: groceries, a child, an umbrella, or perhaps just the weight of the day. When a door opens inward, the human body acts as a natural piston. You are moving in the direction of your destination. By pushing the door, you are using your forward momentum to clear your own path. If the door swung outward, you would have to approach the door, stop your forward progress, reach out, pull the door toward your body, necessitating a backward step to make room for the arc of the door, and then navigate around the edge of the door to finally go inside. It is a clunky, multi-step process that fights against the natural flow of human travel. In the world of design, we call this wayfinding, and the inward swing is the path of least resistance. It welcomes you in by getting out of your way, rather than forcing you to dance around it on your own doorstep. There is also the very real-world problem of the elements. In many parts of the hemisphere, weather isn't just a backdrop, it's a physical force. Imagine living in a region prone to heavy snowfall. If you woke up after a blizzard to find 3 feet of snow drifted against your house, an outward swinging door would effectively turn your home into a high-security prison. You would be physically unable to push the door against the weight of the snowbank. By having the door swing inward, you can always open it, grab a shovel, and clear a path from the inside out. This same logic applies to wind. In a heavy gale, an outward swinging door can act like a sail. The moment you unlatch it, the wind can catch the broad surface area and yank the handle out of your hand, potentially damaging the hinges or even pulling you off the porch. An inward swinging door allows the frame of the house itself to act as a shield, giving you total control over how much outside you let in. Beyond the practicalities of snow and wind, there is a deep-seated historical reason for the inward swing that dates back to the era of fortification and defense. In the Middle Ages, and even into the early colonial periods, the front door was the primary point of vulnerability for a dwelling. If a door opens inward, the most vital parts of its anatomy, the hinges, are located on the inside. In the world of security, the pin of the hinge is the Achilles heel. If those hinges were on the outside, a motivated intruder could simply tap the pins out with a hammer and remove the entire door from the frame without ever touching the lock. By keeping the hinges inside, the house becomes a vault. Furthermore, an inward swinging door allows for the use of a drawbar, or a heavy wooden beam that slots into the masonry of the walls. This creates a mechanical reinforcement that is almost impossible to breach from the outside. You are effectively using the entire structure of the house to back up the door. In a modern context, this translates to kick-in resistance. While it's easier to kick a door in than to pull it out, the inward swinging design allows the door to seat firmly against the rabbet, or the recessed lip of the door frame, which provides a solid seal against both intruders and the weather. However, the security argument has a fascinating flip side when we look at commercial architecture. If inward swinging doors are so great for houses, why do shops and theaters almost always swing out? The answer is written in the pages of tragic history. One of the most influential events in the history of door design was the Victoria Hall disaster of 1883 in England, where where 183 children died because they were rushed toward a door that opened inward. In the panic, the crowd pressed so tightly against the door that the people at the front couldn't pull it open. This led to the invention of the panic bar or crash bar. Modern building codes now strictly mandate that any building designed for large occupancy must have doors that swing outward in the direction of egress. The logic is simple. If there is a fire or a disaster, the momentum of a panicked crowd should help open the door, not seal it shut. In your home, where the occupancy is usually just a few people who know the layout by heart, the risk of a crush is minimal, so the residential standard remains focused on personal security and weather protection rather than mass egress. Then, there is the social and psychological dimension of the door. There is a subtle body language to architecture. An inward swinging door is an invitation. When you open the door for a guest, the door retreats into your private space, metaphorically stepping aside to let the guest enter. It is a gesture of hospitality. Conversely, an outward swinging door can feel aggressive. It is a barrier that moves toward the visitor, forcing them to back up. It says, "Stay there," rather than "come in." In the world of feng shui, the front door is known as the mouth of qi, the point where energy enters the home. An inward swinging door is said to pull energy and prosperity into the living space, whereas an outward swinging door is thought to push that energy away. Whether or not you believe in the flow of qi, the psychological impact of a door that gives way versus a door that confronts is a real factor in how we perceive the vibe of a home. We also have to consider the choreography of the porch. In many modern suburban homes, the front door doesn't work alone. It has a partner, the screen door or storm door. This creates a mechanical necessity. Because the main, heavy, insulated door swings inward, it leaves room for a lightweight glass or mesh door to swing outward. This double door system provides a buffer zone. You can open the main door to see who is there while keeping the screen door locked, or you can leave the main door open in the summer to let in a breeze without letting in the flies. If the main door swung outward, it would collide with the screen door, making the entire system impossible. This layering of doors allows for a level of climate control and visibility that a single door system simply can't match. But what about the exceptions? If you travel to Florida or certain parts of the Caribbean and Scandinavia, you will find that the inward rule is frequently broken. In hurricane-prone regions, building codes often actually require front doors to swing outward. Why the sudden change? Because a Category 5 hurricane, the wind pressure pushing against the face of a door can be immense. Thousands of pounds of force. If the door swings inward, the only thing holding it back is the latch and the deadbolt. If those fail, the door flies open, the house's internal pressure spikes, and the roof can literally be lifted off the structure. However, if the door swings outward, the wind pressure actually pushes the door tighter against the frame of the house. The stronger the wind blows, the better the seal. In these cases, the risk of structural failure from a hurricane outweighs the risk of the hinges being tampered with. These doors are often equipped with security hinges that have non-removable pins or interlocking studs to compensate for being exposed to the outside. There is also a hidden technical detail that most people miss: the threshold and the rabbet. If you look at the bottom of your door frame, there is a sloped piece of metal or wood called the threshold. Its job is to shed water away from the house. An inward swinging door sits behind a small vertical lip in the frame. This stop is what the door hits when you close it. By having the door sit behind this lip, it creates a much more effective seal against rain. If the door swung outward, the seam between the door and the frame would be facing the wind and rain, making it much easier for water to be forced into the house by air pressure. The inward swing uses the geometry of the frame itself to create a weather-tight envelope. In the modern world, we also have to think about the public domain. Most homes are built relatively close to sidewalks or shared walkways. An outward swinging door would be a liability in a high-traffic area. Imagine a delivery driver or a neighbor walking past your house just as you decide to burst out your front door. An outward swinging door is essentially a giant wooden paddle that could strike a pedestrian or a pet. In many urban planning codes, encroachment is a serious issue. You aren't allowed to have any part of your permanent structure swing out into the public right-of-way. By keeping the arc of the door's movement inside your own private square footage, you avoid legal headaches and potential injuries to passers-by. Even the evolution of the smart home has reinforced the inward swing. Modern electronic deadbolts and motorized locks are designed with the assumption that the door will be pulled tight against the internal weather stripping. The alignment required for these precision motors is much easier to maintain when the door is stopped by the internal frame of the house. As we move toward a future of keyless entry and automated homes, the stability of the inward swing provides the most consistent platform for these technologies to function without jamming. Ultimately, the front door is more than just a piece of wood on a hinge. It is a boundary. It is the transition point between the public self and the private self. The inward swing is a physical manifestation of that transition. It is a design that has been refined by centuries of trial and error. We have weighed the threat of Vikings and burglars against the inconvenience of snowdrifts. We have balanced the hospitality of an open home against the terrifying physics of a panicked crowd. And we have engineered solutions for everything from the humid heat of Florida to the freezing winds of the Alps. The next time you come home, take a second to feel that familiar push. Feel the way the door yields to your presence, the way it seals against the frame, and the way the hinges, hidden safely inside, hold your world together. Is a tiny masterpiece of engineering that we use every day, a silent protector that has been perfected over 1,000 years of human history. The door doesn't just open. It tells a story of how we have learned to live together, how we protect what we love, and how we welcome the world in on our own terms.